I filmed this video a while ago. It was just as the recent protests were beginning in America, but before I'd found firmness and confidence in my anti-racist voice. Although I do mention this book by Angela Saini, which I'll get onto in a moment, there are certain opportunities that I don't take. For example, when discussing my frustrations with science, I mention elitism but not racism. So before I start the video, I just wanted to bring your attention to some resources you could use to support the Black Lives Matter movement. I've linked a site below that you might have come across already, which provides all sorts of resources, including donation pages and petitions you can sign. And also down there is going to be a Google Doc that has links to a few more UK-based things, as far as I can tell. If you want to learn more about Black Lives Matter, then there's tons of resources in both of those places. If you want to get a book, then here's one recommendation that I've been given numerous times, and it's Superior by Angela Saini. It discusses racism within science and the way that science has been used to incorrectly solidify racist rhetoric and ideas. As I said on my community tab the other day, we need to take all of this as a chance to remind ourselves that we need to listen to Black voices and learn about their experiences from their point of view. And we, meaning white people, including myself, need to recognise and learn about this racist system that we're perpetuating that ultimately benefits us. The main thing now is to keep up momentum, keep the conversation going, set up a monthly donation if you can. Don't forget about this. From a briefly personal point of view, I've always been weirdly afraid of internet backlash and debate, but I've also simultaneously been very frustrated with myself for feeling that way and for muting myself because of it. And that's not just on topics related to race, it's also on numerous other topics as well. To be honest, I'm kind of done with that now. So while this is here to highlight some resources, it's also here to hold current me and future me accountable for using my voice and my money where I can, and my resources just in general, to the best of their ability in the future. Thank you everyone, and here's past me with the Q&A. I hit 10,000 subscribers a while ago, yay! I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone who subscribed to me and who supports my channel. It's absolutely amazing that there are 10,000, over 10,000, it's over 10,000 of you who are subscribed to me now. And there's always so many lovely comments and so many nice interactions that I have from people who watch my videos, so thank you so much. So to celebrate, I'm answering some questions you've posed to me, and also I'm doing a freestyle rap. Let me explain why I would do that to myself. My friend Chris Turner, he has a YouTube video that I'll link below, probably in a card up there. Is it up there or is it there? It's one of the sides. He is an incredible freestyle rapper, and he and I were in the same improvised comedy group, shout out to the Oxford Imps. And basically we sometimes used to rap together on stage. Now the difference between Chris and I is Chris has made his career out of it and I definitely have not. But he essentially he said in a post that if I hit 10k subs I would do a rap, and a few of his fans have been commenting on my Instagrams, my YouTube things, being like, where's the rap at? So here it's gonna be, okay? I've collected some suggestions from some of you, I've not looked at them, so I'm gonna end up doing a freestyle rap at some point in this video, probably at the end. But first, to warm myself up, I'm gonna answer some of the Q&A questions I got. If you're only here for one thing and you don't care about my life, that's fair enough, don't blame you. I'll probably put timestamps to the rap and maybe to the different questions beneath here. Also, this video is going to be fun because it's all a lot less scripted than normal, if you can't tell. So on my Patreon, Dan JMT asked, who are your favourite science communicators and influences, and what would you do a Royal Institution presentation / lecture on? Okay, so I actually got asked the science communicator question in an interview I had for a science communication masters that I did. And when they asked me that, I answered someone called Anna Poshayski. So she's an engineer, but also a stand-up, but also a trumpet player, and also has swum the channel. And also I listened to a podcast, The Coming Out Tapes, which I can also link below, where she talks about coming out and being gay, and I just think she's an amazing role model. Then there's also Angela Saini, who wrote the book Inferior, which is the first book that I've like actually written all over in the margins, like made notes, like I couldn't stop thinking about it. And she's written Superior, which I also want to read. It's all about race science, and it sounds A, really interesting, and B, really vital, especially at the moment. And then YouTube wise, I've got to mention Simone Yetch, just the way she has humour and engineering like seamlessly looped together. She is a big inspiration of mine, and when I watch her, I just want to make things, and also just make things. I'm also a fan of Hannah Fry, which links to the Royal Institution lecture thing, because she did them just this year. So for those who don't know, the Royal Institution lecture is a big Christmas lecture aimed particularly at young people. It's 3 different lectures in a series, all based broadly around one topic, but with loads of like activities and experiments and guests coming in to talk about stuff. Tom Scott was in Hannah Fry's one, for example. So yeah, you need to pick a topic for it. So if I had to think about a topic, it would probably be something like memory, because there's quite a lot you can do there. You can look at ways to improve your memory, you can look at people who have unusual memories like HSAM, which I've made a video about before, or you can look at people who, you know, have failing memories. I know talking about something, for example, like dementia would seem a bit like doom and gloom for the Christmas lectures, but actually I think if you talk about it in quite an open way and help people see what the real symptoms of dementia are and how you can build on them to build a relationship with people with dementia, it's really, really important, if that makes sense. So yeah, probably memory would be my theme. I feel like there's a lot you can unpack there. What hobbies do you have outside of the YouTube world? Asks Adam Dullinger, also on my Patreon. Improv has always been a big one, improvised comedy. I've done it for like 7 years now. I used to play quite a lot of football, I play the ukulele sometimes, and a little bit the guitar. At the moment I'm playing a lot of Animal Crossing also. But to be honest, my main hobby is socialising, actually. This is something I've realised. I spend most of my spare time meeting up with friends. So yeah, pretty basic. What would be the theme song of your life? From Justin Brown on Patreon. Easy one, it would be Rupert Holmes' Escape, aka the Pina Colada song. No, it wouldn't. I don't know what it would be. This is such a hard question. I think it's the hardest one I've been asked. In the summer, probably a Beach Boys song, because I always listen to Beach Boys in the summer. And in the winter, there's a song, to be honest, I quite like Fireflies by Owl City in the winter. It's quite a cosy winter song. But I found this really hard. If anyone has any ideas, feel free to comment them, because I've got no idea what my theme song would be. Is that quite sad? What's your favourite non-educational YouTuber? From Shell.y. I get really caught up in a lot of video game theory videos, especially like Legend of Zelda. So there's a series by Zeltic on like the unsolved mysteries of Zelda, and I find that really, really interesting, and I can just get lost in it for hours. In terms of individuals though, there's Jessica Kellgren Fozard and her wife Claudia, and Jessica talks about disability and LGBT issues and all sorts like that, and I just think she's really great. I also find myself watching quite a lot of video essays about current internet trend topics, like Casey Aonzo's stuff on TikTok. I don't know why, I just find it just absorbs me. And Tiffany Ferg falls into that category too on the Internet Analysis series. Shell.y also asked, if you could be a character in Cats, what would your name and story be? I've thought about this. I'd be Woof Ruff Bark, the cat that's actually a dog. What type of music do you prefer? From Look Eku. I'm one of those people who genuinely likes all sorts of music, but I feel like with a question like this, my mind and heart always goes back to the songs I used to listen to a lot when I was a kid, especially music that my parents would play to me. So that's music from like the 60s and 70s, and that covers all sorts of different artists, from Steely Dan to Raccoon to Spirit and the Beach Boys and the Beatles and Cream and Van Morrison. There's loads, and then there's whole genres that I used to love, like doo-wop and Motown, and I would just listen through best of CDs repeatedly. So yeah, that's kind of where my heart is. But then there's like a sprinkling of 80s artists in there, like Lloyd Cole and the Commotions, and then there's loads of modern artists as well, like obviously love a bit of Tay Tay and a bit of Harry Styles. I would say though as well that I think the way that Spotify is used and the way I use Spotify these days means that I listen to a lot of like individual artists rather than whole albums. Like I used to listen to Joni Mitchell's Blue all the way through, but I don't really do that on Spotify. I have my liked songs. So I think that's why my mind kind of goes back to those whole albums that I would listen to in the car. Oh, but my ultimate banger of all time is the standout It's Raining Men by the Weather Girls. It is an incredibly crafted song, including the music video. It cannot be improved. What's your coolest piece of science trivia from SXYZ in Costa del London? The Latin for llama is llama glama. Dana Giao Harrington has asked, do you have any opinions on the claims in a lot of articles, videos and so on that the way science is done is changing in response to this pandemic? Yeah, this is a really, really interesting question because I've thought about making videos on the way science is done quite a lot, because I found that when I transitioned from being in school learning about science to being at uni learning about science, there were loads of things about the real world of scientific research that really, really peed me off, to be honest, like made me really annoyed. But when considering the angle of has the pandemic changed the way we do science, there's kind of, I think, pros and cons. You can have lots of different research groups in one field working on very similar things on opposite sides of the world, and obviously they'll be competing with each other because they want to get the paper out first. But this is quite frustrating because surely communication about findings like across these groups would be really useful to speed up the research process. So there's often a lack of collaboration there, but there's also a lack of collaboration in terms of across fields. People can be very, very involved in their own field without really taking consideration the value of other fields. I guess I'll say it like that. One potentially good thing then to have evolved during the pandemic is that cross-collaboration across different fields. So you've got structural biologists talking to immunologists and virologists who are talking to pharmacologists, and so that's a potential positive. However, we've then got some negatives coming through, namely a lack of peer review in some areas. Peer review is when other scientists look at a paper and make sure that everything's in order before it gets published. It can be frustrating, but normally it's a very good thing because it stops terrible papers from getting through and being seen as being proper good science. During the coronavirus crisis, we've had peer review drop in some areas to mean that scientific information can get out there quicker, and so groups of researchers can get access to it earlier. A positive example of this was when the genome, so the whole gene sequence of the COVID-19 virus, was released. That meant that loads of research groups from around the world could use it and act on it much quicker. However, on the other side, you've got the issue with hydroxychloroquine and all that business of, yeah, it's fine, like let's put out this paper saying it works, and then it wasn't peer reviewed and it wasn't a great paper and it can be a mess. Then there's other issues in science like the world of open access and how papers are really expensive to get to and how that obviously creates a barrier for people who can't afford to read the papers. And so yeah, if the question is the way science is done going to change forever? I'm not really sure. There's a risk that in the future there's going to be less money around, and so the world of science is going to get more and more competitive to get the bubbles of research grants that are out there. Like, that's a potential. Another issue is just that the way science is done is so ingrained. It's like any, realm of business. It's got its ways that it does things, and it's going to be hard to undo them. So those are my thoughts based on that question. I hope it made sense. I didn't script it or anything. Those are just the things that came to my head. Okay, now it's time for the freestyle. Quick note from Edit Sophie, that's me. Thank you so much for all of your questions. I filmed the Q&A quite quickly after posting asking for questions, which meant when I went back to get the screenshots of the questions, I was like, oh my gosh, I missed so many. So if you really want your question answering, I can save it for a next time, if there ever is a next time, or just if you really want it answered, just put an oi below and I will do my best to provide an answer for you. Now it's time for the mini freestyle collection. My glamorous assistant, aka my wonderful girlfriend, is currently writing down the suggestions that you had provided via Google Forms, and then she's going to shout them out to me because I need my laptop to play the beat. Glamorous assistant, please may I have a suggestion?
If babies had a full set of teeth from birth.
If babies had a full set of teeth from birth. Oh my gosh, okay, this is a freestyle based on if babies had a full set of teeth from birth. Okay. Right, let's get into the room with this. If babies had a full set of teeth from birth, here we go. Yeah. Okay. If babies had a full set of teeth from birth, I'm not lying. I'm pretty sure we all agree it would be terrifying. Yes, maybe for a bit you'd think, wow, that's neat, but you know who wouldn't say at the moment with the teeth on the teeth, it would be terrible. I tell you something, their mouth would be full and be biting so hard it would be nasty, I swear. So babies with teeth, yeah, that would really scare me. That's the end of my rap about babies with teeth. Should we do another one? Let's do it, sure, okay.
Pet goldfish.
A pet goldfish. What a suggestion. Here's a freestyle rap about a pet goldfish. The memories come flooding back, yeah, I can't stop it, of my old pet goldfish. It was called Comet, bright and yellow, couldn't fly, 2 out of 3, with similarities with a comet, you see. Anyway, yeah, Comet sadly died, that's all I can say, yeah, I cried and cried. It's the main memory I have of my little fish. My little fish, you know what, if I could have one wish, it would be that Comet could come back to life. I would just wish that so hard. When I look up to the sky, see a shooting star or a comet, yeah, it is quite far, so I can't tell, but I wish on that comet for Comet to return, yeah, I really want it. That is a rap about a pet goldfish, thank you. Glamorous assistant, maybe should I try a different beat?
Yeah, maybe. Kristen Stewart.
Kristen Stewart, yeah, she is gay. I'm a big fan of her, even in her twilight day, because, you know, I read it, it got me into reading. Well, that's not quite true, but it got me into bleeding as in vampires, because you bleed when they bite. But when I see a vampire now, I don't feel the fright. I just think, yeah, you're all mysterious and sullen, like Robert Pattinson when he played Edward Cullen. I did a Twilight spoof when I was younger. Guess who I was? Yeah, I wasn't the fun one. I was Emma, because I was really blokey. But anyway, I can see, I'll take it as a joke, see. Oh, okay, that's enough of that. Oh, right, one more.
The environmental benefits of COVID-19.
Right, okay. Yes, the environmental benefits of COVID-19. You're about to see a freestyle rap based on the suggestion. The environmental benefits of COVID-19. Take it away with the beat. Okay. We've all been outside, we've all had that feeling. We've looked around, we thought nature is healing. The rivers are clean, the sky is clean. Everything around it seems to gleam, but it's more complicated than that, because what's it healing from? What? Which people are suffering from the virus? Well, it is the people who are less well off. Those are the people that the virus is killing off. If you think nature's healing, then what is it destroying? The virus, I mean, yeah. You gotta toy with that idea in your brain that we're not all the same. Some people naturally are more likely to benefit from health problems. Anyway, the point is, don't be so quick to say that the virus is helping the world wash away the pain that we've all created, because there's a disparity in who's created and made it, you see. When you're at the bottom, you're far more likely to be affected by the virus attacking you, whereas if you're at the top, you're pretty safe. You can have healthcare and other things like that. Anyway, this was a political freestyle broadcast from Soap's Notes about how COVID-19 isn't healing nature, okay? We should all heal nature by destroying capitalist structures, thank you. And that's it. I was so relieved to finish the raps, I forgot to do a goodbye. How rude of me. If you want to see the raps that didn't make the cut, there will be some going onto my Patreon, so mosey on over to there if you fancy. While I'm on the topic, I would like to say a huge thank you to my patrons. Without you, I wouldn't have financial support, but also a lot of spiritual support, not in like a God way, but in like my spirits are raised knowing that you are all there. So a special thank you especially to Adam Dullinger, Terry Cox and Justin Brown, but my most genuine and warmest appreciation to you all. And that genuine and warm appreciation expands out to all of you, anyone who made it to the end of this, who watches a video, who watches through an ad, who likes, who comments, who smiles, who clicks on a sponsor link. Honestly, you are all the best and you are the reason I can be here. Cheesiness over, and there's no outtakes this time, so genuinely all that's left to say is thank you so much for watching, have a lovely day and keep on keeping on.